Hi there, my name is Marty Owings, and today I'm going to paint this Acorn birdhouse with a limited palette. For this painting, I'll start with a gouache yellow ochre, a watercolor yellow, a watercolor sepia, a gouache sepia, and a titanium white. I'll also use a 1/2-inch flat brush and a water-soluble graphite pencil. I'm going to start by trying to create a small thumbnail sketch on the left-hand side of my sketchbook. This is just going to give me proportional measurements and an idea of layout and composition before I get to the under drawing or the main drawing and then the background that I'll do here today. Again, I'm just going to use a limited palette, so I'm going to try to keep things as simple as possible. But I do want to get things proportionally as accurate and correct as I can. Many of the illustration techniques I use in my practice, I learned from James Gurney and Steve Mitchell, people like that. They both have YouTube channels out there, and you can find out a ton about how to correctly paint and illustrate sketches and things like that from both of those fine artists. Today I'm going to do a little underpainting. The paper I'm using is a little thin for this, but I wanted to get an underpainting, so I'm going to use this yellow ochre because I wanted to kind of brighten up the background a little bit, even though it's very green right now. This is a time of year, kind of midsummer, where it's very green around here in the upper Midwest. But I'm going to give this a shot anyway. You can see a little bit of the paper buckling at the top. I'll worry about that later, but for now I just want to get a background here so I can get my sketching started. So now that I have the background, I'm kind of going over my pencil sketch again just to make sure I have all the proportions correct and I have the angles and things like that. I'll worry about color and detail later. I just want to make sure that I'm careful at this point to make sure I've got everything basically lined up the way it should be. I want to start here by blocking in the big shapes. Again, you don't have to worry about detail at this point, just blocking in the big shape of the tree in the background. Again, the paper is very wet, so I'm going to try to let that dry a little. And once I did, it laid a little bit flatter, so now I can block in a few more of the shapes, including the Acorn birdhouse itself. This birdhouse sits on an apple tree in my backyard, and I always wanted to paint it. I sketched it a few times, but never had the opportunity to really just sit back there and paint it. And today seemed like a good day. It's bright, it's sunny, so I thought I'd go out there and give it a shot. What I'm doing here now is just trying to block in a little bit of the smaller shapes on the birdhouse itself. So I've got sort of the rest of the background evened out, and that seems to be laid out okay. And now I'm going to just add some of the shapes in here. The circle shape here is the hole or the entrance to the little birdhouse. And there are some birds that have made this home over the years, but we get a lot of squirrels in the yard, and I think maybe it's not in an ideal spot for birds to make nests in there year round. But this is kind of the point in the painting where it's a little messy, and sometimes people just give up here. But if you can push through it, you can often have a much better outcome. And just be patient with yourself and the process. And if it doesn't work out, you've learned something in the process anyway. So there's never a bad painting or a bad drawing. It's only an opportunity to learn, right? as I contemplate where I want to leave this particular painting or study, I think I'm getting close to that point, because if I keep trying to overwork it, I run the risk of messing it up. And I don't want to do that. I think it's fine where it's at anyway. And I enjoyed being close to home in my own backyard here. Sometimes the beauty of the world can be found just in your local surroundings, or maybe even your backyard. So I appreciate you coming along today for this gouache study. And whether you're doing a watercolor or a gouache painting, it's good to get out there and kind of paint outside and get outdoors, especially when it's summertime and the opportunity presents itself. So feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think of this study and whether you get out and do studies from time to time. So long for now. This has been Marty for owingsart.com.